It's time for the Rick Smith Show. Now, here is the voice of the working class, Rick Smith.
Welcome, brothers, sisters, working class heroes. This is the Rick Smith Show. Thanks so much for being here today on the big program. Lots to get to. Lots to talk about. Something happened with the former guy. A little something happened with Trump. A new 60-page superseding indictment. Yes, this has been filed by Jack Smith, the special prosecutor. Added a new defendant. So again, the number of names of people who work for the former guy, well, better get a lawyer. This guy's name's Carlos de Oliveira. Evidently, he's the guy who was supposed to go and destroy all the evidence. As is the indictment. It says, Trump ordered the altering, destruction, and concealment of evidence, obstruction of justice, all this stuff, willful retention of national defense information, all kinds of stuff. And what's interesting is the loyal, the faithful, the folks who thought, yeah, our guy will take care of us because we're going to protect our guy. We're going to go in there, we're going to do that work for our guy. He's going to throw them under the bus. And as I'm reading through the indictment, it's like, dude, they've got him dead to rights. I mean, they're laying it out, going, look, we asked for the videotape, and then within minutes, there's somebody hot on the trail of destroying what we're asking for. And the weird thing about this, and this is the thing that's really just bizarre to me. And again, I get Donald Trump thinks he's the smartest guy in the room, because understand, he's been getting away with criming for decades. His entire life he's been getting away with stuff. Nobody has ever told him no. And again, this is where his parents failed him. But he's never been told no. He's never been held accountable. And he thinks he's above the law. And look, the reality is, in most cases he has been. And I still don't think he's ever going to see the inside of a jail cell. But this could have all really simply just been avoided. I mean, it's remarkable to me that he would put himself in this mess, that he would listen to no one. All the FBI wanted was the stuff back. Took him a year. They were begging and pleading, please just give us the stuff back. We don't want to have to go down this road. But this is one of these moments. And my good friend Bob Ney, he got himself into a little trouble with the federal government. They don't run out of time or money. Once you finally get on their list, they're coming. And they have the resources, even with someone like Trump, who's supposedly a billionaire. This is one of those this will go down in history as he is literally the dumbest person ever to serve in the White House. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. When they're saying, look, just give it back. We don't want all the other headaches. We certainly, the DOJ didn't want much to do with it. The FBI didn't. They're just saying, give it back. And he refused. And, made up all of this stuff about, I declassified everything. I've got a magic wand. Whatever he was thinking then. And literally on tape, you've got him going, yeah, I shouldn't be showing you this really highly classified document about us almost going to war with Iran. I really shouldn't be showing you this. In fact, I shouldn't even really have it because I didn't declassify everything like I should have on the way out the door. I mean, he basically he talked himself into an indictment. And here's the thing. He's still not going to go to jail because he's still above the law. Because we're never going to hold people like that accountable. And look, I hope I'm wrong. I say this all the time. I hope I'm wrong. And I know I'm going to get angry emails and say, no, we're going to get him this time. No, you're not. But again, I come back to literally the dumbest guy to ever serve in the White House. because it's all just right there. There's no attempt, and this is one of the arguments I get from his supporters. Well, if it was illegal, he wouldn't be flashing it around. Yes, he would. Because if you listen to me during his term, when he was in the White House, I was saying, look, the reality is this guy, look, he wants to crime. He's going to crime. He's going to crime a lot. But more than just the thrill of criming, it's you knowing that he's criming and there's nothing you can do to him. That's the aphrodisiac. That's the thing that gets the little Trump up and happy. The fact that you know he's doing it and there's nothing you can do about it. And he's done this to people for decades. He's gotten away with this kind of stuff for years. And finally someone is saying, no. You're going to be held accountable. Now, I don't know what that looks like. And as I said, still don't think he's ever going to see the inside of a jail. But here's what the good part is. He's bogged down on this for the rest of his life. This is not going away. It's not going to be done by the election. I know people are, no, we're going to get him before the election, and he's not going to be able to run. No, he's going to be able to run. But he's going to have to deal with this pretty much until the day he dies. Because look, the big ones haven't even come yet. This is the stuff nobody thought that they would. I have had people on this program who said, no, they're never going to go after this. And I was going, no, I think this is important. I think you got to go after him for this stuff. The big stuff still hasn't yet to fall yet. The big stuff, the Fannie Willis in Georgia, evidently, potentially big stuff coming, because from what I'm seeing in the news, the courthouse barricades have popped up. I don't know if they just planted the barricade seeds and they sprung up, but they're there. So that's telling me somebody's planning for something. And what else is going on in Georgia? I mean, vote suppression, sure. We're going to purge a bunch of people and their ability to vote, but that's not going to cause, a run on the courthouse. What else could it possibly be but the perfect phone call? Hey, go dig into the couch cushions. Find me those 14,000 votes that I need to win Georgia. Because, hey, I won by 400,000, but just get me 1,400. Or just get me 14,000. I won by 400,000. Just give me 14,000. That's all I really need. So I'm waiting for the big stuff to fall. Because, look, we still don't. We're still waiting on January 6th. Now, what's interesting is today the game was being played by Trump all day. No, they aren't going to indict. No, they don't. They haven't said anything. No, and then they did. Oh, it's fake news. I know he loves the chaos, loves to point the finger, but this is going to be interesting. Going to be interesting to see how more of this plays out. How many people are jumping ship? How many rats are jumping ship? How many people were there for the criming and look the other way and are now going, I better save my, what's that, CYOA? Cover your own behind? Yeah. Because where's Mark Meadows? Anybody seen Mark Meadows? I mean, he must be near Waldo somewhere because nobody's seen him, which has got a lot of people thinking, he's flipped. He's singing like a canary, like a jailhouse bird, because he doesn't want to be a jailhouse bird. But here's the thing, the January 6th thing is coming. There will be an indictment coming very soon, I believe. And then out of this, there's so many questions that need to be answered. For instance, was that all part of the long-term strategy? How long did they come up with this? Now, you may remember back before the election, you had Steve Bannon running around saying, Trump, no matter what the outcome is on election night, he's going to declare victory. And I said that too. I said, look, that's their game plan. They know that Republicans are going to vote on the day of the election because that's what they've told their people to do. And Democrats, to be safe, are going to tell people, vote from home, vote by mail, and those won't be counted for days, even weeks. And in those days and weeks, while you're counting the ballots, he's going to be out there screaming that he won and it's being stolen from him. And he's going to whip the base up into a frenzy. It's almost like they planned it. And here in my state of Pennsylvania, it's exactly what they did. They tried to declare that they won. Didn't work. But they tried. They tried to declare, look, they're stealing from us. So, how much of that is there? How much of the firing of Esper and Barr and all of the chaos that happened in the aftermath, how much of that plays into it? And then the elector thing. The elector thing still is I know Dana Nessel is in Michigan, the attorney general there is prosecuting the 16 fake electors there. And I'm still waiting for Pennsylvania to do something, and Georgia and some other states, because to me, that's kind of a big freaking deal. And why haven't we heard more about the fake electors? Was that part of it? And when did they dream up this scheme? And who was behind it? Maybe my congressman was part of it, because he was involved, Scott Pardon Me Perry, part of all of this. So there's a lot here. And, look, I mean, there's so many questions I have. What was said in the limo when they wouldn't take him to the Capitol? There's a lot. What did they say to Pence? And why hasn't Pence said anything? They wanted to hang him. You would think he'd be going, hey, Now, here's the thing. This is what I find hysterical. Turned on right-wing radio today. And what I hear about? I heard about Hunter Biden. All I heard was Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden's going to jail. Hunter Biden committed horrible crimes. I got an email the other day from someone saying that they're going to impeach Hunter Biden. And I'm going, good luck. Let me know how that works. Because I must have missed that. Show me you failed high school civics class without saying a word. Now, look, I'm okay with them going after Hunter Biden. He broke the law. He goes to jail. That's how our system works. That's how it should work. And this is what conservatives should be in favor of. Someone breaks the law, they go to jail. The old Beretta thing. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Orange Menace. Just saying. Now, if you're going to go after Hunter Biden, I think you got to go after Jared Kushner. Why haven't we gone after Jared over the Saudi deal? It's not that I'm saying we should not go after Hunter Biden. If he broke the law, go get him. But in looking at what's being accused, I don't know. One seems bigger than the other. One, you got a crackhead who made some dumb things, got used. The other, somebody really manipulative, actually worked for the government, actually used his influence. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But I want to hear your thoughts on all of this. Should Trump go to jail when he's found guilty? And I'm telling you, I think he's going to be found guilty. I just don't think he's going to go to jail. I want to hear your thoughts, though. Email me, rick@thericksmithshow.com. Quick break. Right back after this.
From the steel mills of Pennsylvania to the auto factories of Michigan to the modern makers movement, manufacturing makes our nation great. I'm Scott Paul, president of the Alliance for American Manufacturing. We bring business and labor together to advocate for policies that everyone can agree on. Together, we can strengthen manufacturing and create good-paying American jobs. Help us keep it made in America.
We are AFGE, the American Federation of Government Employees. We represent 700,000 federal and D.C. government workers who are the vital threads of the fabric of American life. We support our nation's military. We take care of our nation's veterans. We protect our nation's borders. We respond to our nation's crises and natural disasters. We provide services to our nation's seniors. The American Federation of Government Employees. We work for America.
The old factory towns in America's heartland have been taking a beating. Thing is, though, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Unions are making a comeback. More organizing in the last couple of years than in a long time. And the Biden administration being more supportive of unions than any president since FDR. We're finally turning things around after 40 years of screwing over working people. But will we keep moving in the right direction? That's our choice as Americans.
It doesn't matter what kind of weather. It doesn't matter what time of day or night. When Mother Nature's done her worst, the only thing that matters to us is keeping the lights on for you. the hardworking women and men of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, dedicated to keeping the power on in communities all across the country. Because when bad weather strikes, we know what matters most. IBEW, the power professionals.
So, evidently, according to House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, the House is going to leave early for recess, early for the August recess. And there's part of me that goes, good. It's good to get rid of them. They're not going to do anything anyway. Nothing constructive could come out of them being together. And look, almost a fist fight in the House today as Kevin McCarthy and Eric Swalwell almost went to blows. I can't repeat what was said. A lot of vulgarity. But if you're Kevin McCarthy and you're going to tell someone, if you say something again, I'm going to hit you, and they say it again, you kind of got to hit him. You can't just walk away. It kind of proves the point that what he called you kind of are. Let's go to the phones. We got Steve from Chicago on line one. Steve, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Just getting in the car here. Sorry about that. So I wanted to make the point with regard to Hunter Biden. I mean, this is a tactic on the part of Republicans, just detract from anything that has to do with actual kitchen table issues.
Yep.
We just had the numbers released today in terms of GDP. We're at a solid 2.4%. Now, again, nothing to, necessarily celebrate, but if you were expecting a recession, which is what we've been, told to expect for the last couple of years, 2.4% does not indicate a recession is on its way. Far from it. And when you take that into consideration along with everything else in terms of good news with regard to unemployment, consumer confidence, all of these things, the stock market, I mean, if you're planning on running against Joe Biden in terms of the economy, good luck, because you're going to have a Herculean task doing so. So Republicans have to create something to run against, and they created this scandal in terms of his son. And assuming that he's guilty of all of these things, okay, the fact is that he's not being under-prosecuted. In fact, at least one of those charges is something that most legal experts agree would not be something you and I would be facing if we were in the same shoes, if it were not for the fact that his name was Biden.
Right.
And so this idea that Hunter Biden is somehow getting a free pass, no, these are three charges, not anything serious. One of them quite frankly, he shouldn't be charged with to begin with in most situations. And beyond that, again, where's the scandal? I mean, they're looking for something, and it's not a coincidence that this is a Trump-appointed judge who wants to draw up, relatively minor charges. A plea deal was arrived at, which is how the vast majority of cases like this are settled. On minor charges, a plea deal was arrived at. Everybody agrees, except for the judge, the Trump-appointed judge, who wants to drag this out for political reasons, in my view. So, again, Republicans are just looking for something to grasp onto because they have nothing of substance. They have been the party of no. It's just we're opposed to everything that Democrats want. So if Democrats are for extending civil rights to people who are of transgender background, well, we're against that. And if Democrats are for extending civil rights to people or maintaining the civil rights protections that the groups have enjoyed in this country, we're against that. No matter what Democrats are for. And it's amazing to me that Republicans, the party that was supposedly against the evils of the former Soviet Union, which is now Russia, because the guy in charge was a former Soviet KGB agent, all of a sudden he's a darling for them.
Yeah.
I mean, how did the Republican Party become the darlings of the Russian oligarchs? That's just mind-boggling to me because they want to pull us out of any involvement in terms of supporting the people of Ukraine as if somehow we're supposed to be on the other side of that equation. And I have no idea how the Republicans flipped on that. Ronald Reagan would be turning over in his grave.
Now, how'd we go from Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall, to go ahead, Mr. Putin, go right on ahead. Come on, go right on ahead. Here, we'll help you. Strange days, Steve. Strange days indeed. I appreciate the call, though. Thank you. Let's go to line 2. We got Alice on line 2. Alice, what's on your mind and how are you?
Oh, I'm doing well, thanks. Well, let me say first off, I happen to agree with everything that Steve just said. That's basically what I was going to say. But I also wanted to say, the Republicans are claiming that the Democrats and Joe Biden are politicizing, and using as retribution the Department of Justice and the court system when they're actually the ones that's doing it. Because if we're going to be looking at things. Okay, so first off, Hunter Biden did something, well, good and well. He's in trouble. Okay. But why are we making it about Joe? Oh, I know, because we got to make it look like he's a big criminal, because we keep saying, Democrats are evil and wicked and criminals and blah, blah, blah.
Well, that, and how do you defend an actual criminal unless you try and make someone else equal with them? I mean, part of this is trying to put Biden and Trump on the same level. And look, Biden is nowhere near the criminal that Trump is, because Biden didn't do anything wrong. There's been no straight line from what Hunter Biden did to Joe Biden. There's just not. And I said from the beginning, unless you can take that into court and have someone with a robe go, okay, you put your hand on that book and say it, I don't want to hear it from you anymore.
Well, exactly. And it's funny how all their so-called whistleblowers keep either getting jailed or running off, or they can't find them, or
guilty of crimes.
All of a sudden, they claim they have all these whistleblowers and witnesses, but when push comes to shove, all of a sudden they can't find them. It's just crazy. And I'm like, that let's actually investigate Kushner and Ivanka and the rest of them that were right there working in the White House, and all of a sudden she's getting all these deals with China, he's getting money from Saudi Arabia. I mean, hey, we're going to investigate Hunter, who supposedly is in collusion with his dad and who knows who else. Then, mayhap we should investigate the Trump kids.
Yeah.
But they're all crazy, and it's cute nonsense, and I'm tired of hearing it.
There you go.
So you have a good evening,
Thanks,
Rick.
Alice. Now here's the thing. Look, I think you investigate Hunter Biden. If he broke the law, you investigate him. I've never said not to, but you do have to. I mean, seriously, Jared Kushner got $2 billion with a B, billion with a B. Did I mention he get $2 billion? Did I mention that? From the Saudis, who the overseeing body in that country said, no, this is bad. And Mr. Bonesaw said, no, we're going to do this anyway. And you got to go, well, what was the quid pro quo? What we get? What they get? Nobody's investigating that because the House isn't interested in that. You've got to figure out how to make Biden look bad. And look, we know how Republicans are going to attack Biden next year. It's all going to be about him not being able to finish out his term and then scaring people with the dog whistle of going, well, do you want Kamala Harris as president? And you know where that's going to take us. That's their plan. It's all they've got because they haven't been able to crash the economy. They haven't been able to pull back the funding that is creating the jobs and rebuilding our infrastructure and moving us in a direction that's doing something on climate. And trust me, they're trying to screw things up, but it hasn't worked yet because the economy, look, it's not great for everybody, but we're moving in the right direction. And the fact that there's so much labor activity means that wages are going to start popping up, and that's a good thing. Republicans got problems. Now, the other problem that they're going to have is, from what I'm hearing, we're going to see a lot of Marjorie Three Names. Marjorie Taylor Greene will be the poster child because evidently she's now the face of the Republican Party. She is. I mean, the crazy caucus got rid of her, which means she's not even crazy enough for them. And of course, my congressman Scott Perry, the head of the kook caucus, booted her to the curb because she wasn't kooky enough for them. Now, what's weird is, according to the Center for American Progress, they looked at her voting record, and what they found is that however she votes, the House Republicans voted alongside her 92% of the time. So she is the driver right now of the GOP. It's not Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy's a wimp, and he showed that today. You don't go call someone out in public and just, you'll call me names, I'll kick your behind. And then they literally, call you that name with periods between each word. And then you walk away. Where I grew up, you said something like that, them's fighting words. You don't get to walk away. But that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But I want to hear your thoughts. Email me, rick@thericksmithshow.com. Do you care about the Hunter Biden thing? Do you care about that at all? And, did the person who emailed me, did they know something I don't? Can we impeach a private citizen? Is that possible? The answer is clearly no. But it is funny. Want to hear your thoughts? Email me, rick@thericksmithshow.com. Back after this.
I've been driving buses for 5 years, and my day-to-day routine is I wake up a little earlier than most people. I get on a bus, I go out, I pick up some students and make sure they get to school nice and safe. Here in Fairbanks, Alaska, that can be a challenge because of the winter weather and the icy roads. But I love the job. So the Teamsters are great. They provide us a lot of protections. They've always taken care of their people, made sure that our jobs were secure. We didn't have to worry about whether or not we'd have a job from day to day.
And that's amazing because before we'd be working 4, 6, 8 hours a day and only earning minimum wage was real difficult to make a living. And the Teamsters pushed a lot so we make something we can live off of and not have to have a second job. What absolutely gives me peace of mind. The union membership allows me to focus on this job without having to worry about whether or not my family is going to be taken care of. I'm Andrew Case, and I'm proud to be Teamsters Local 959.
Before we close the program, we want to take a moment to thank our viewers and to share a little bit about why we do what we do. At The Rick Smith Show, we believe that media today is almost entirely controlled by corporate greed. So we have now 24-hour news channels. But instead of 24 hours of news, what we get is 1 hour repeated 24 times, and with tons of commercials creating obscene amounts of profits. Information once presented as a public service has now become a private commodity. So when lies make money, lies are what we get. We get a corporate-controlled rage machine feeding us anger and hate, trying to convince us that our problems are right, left, or red, blue, when they are and always have been up, down, the wealthiest 1% versus the rest of us. Our goal is to be an alternative to that machine, not as a news show with a fancy journalist out front, but as a talk show run by a union truck driver and a team of working-class heroes just like you. Everything we do, both what we get right and what we get wrong, is dedicated to advancing the interests of America's working families. No corporate ad buys, no think tanks, no focus groups, no talking points. We are media by working people for working people. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you back here next time.